The Happy Mask Salesman. He is a shady character, changing moods all the time from happy to mad. But what are his true intentions? You have met with a terrible fate, haven't you? Is what the Happy Mask Salesman once said. He is one of the most weird characters in the Legend of Zelda series. But what's wrong with him? He has been around for quite a while now, and the first time we see him is in Oracle of Ages. The Happy Mask Salesman is the owner of the mask shop in the game. Suffering from an extreme case of hunger, he requests that Link gets him some food. Link gives him a piece of tasty meat to satisfy his hunger. In return, the Happy Mask Salesman gives Link a doggy mask. However, not before Link asks the annoyed Happy Mask Salesman for something in return. After these events, the Happy Mask Salesman falls out of the picture for quite a while, but he does eventually return. He returns in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. The Happy Mask Salesman is the owner of the Happy Mask Shop in Hyrule Castle Town. The Happy Mask Shop lends out masks for other people to sell in order for the potential seller to obtain true happiness and for the salesman to make some profit. He's generally in a good mood, but if Link returns without rupees for a sold mask, then his expression changes to an unnerving version of his usual self, and he kicks Link out of his shop in anger. His mood returns to normal once Link re-enters the shop. The Happy Mask Shop opens once the Hyrulean soldier guarding the gate to Death Mountain asks Link whether he can bring him a Keaton mask for his son. Lending the Keaton mask from the Happy Mask Salesman initiates a trading quest. Once Link has sold 4 different mask models, the Happy Mask Salesman lends him the Mask of Truth, which allows him to read the thoughts of gossip stones. Furthermore, 3 new masks, the Gerudo, Goron and Zora mask, are now available to lend, as are the previously sold masks. Although the Happy Mask Salesman is nowhere to be found during the adult portion of the game, he is seen celebrating at Lon Lon Ranch during the credits, which is very strange. The next time we encounter him is in The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, and things get even more weird and awkward from here on. The Happy Mask Salesman's largest and most prominent role is in Majora's Mask. The Happy Mask Salesman's actions prior to the events of the game caused the impending doom of the entire world of Termina, the focal point of the game's story. On his travels to find strange and powerful masks, the Happy Mask Salesman manages to obtain the legendary Majora's Mask. Used by the Ancient Ones in their hexing rituals, the mask held destructive powers. To prevent an inevitable catastrophe from coming to pass, the tribe sealed it away. The Happy Mask Salesman went to great lengths, the details of which are not revealed, to obtain the mask. Upon successfully retrieving it, however, he immediately came to regret doing so, as he could sense the doom of a dark omen brewing. Continuing his journey while traversing the Lost Woods, the Happy Mask Salesman was ambushed by an imp, known as the Skull Kid, and his 2 fairy companions, Tattle and Tail. While the salesman was unconscious, the Skull Kid stole Majora's Mask. Eventually, Link, who had left on the journey to find a friend he lost after the defeat of Ganondorf, is also ambushed by Tattle and Tail and knocked unconscious. The Skull Kid appears and steals his Ocarina of Time. Link regains consciousness and attempts to sneak up on the Skull Kid, but the imp and his friends quickly escape on Link's horse, Epona. Chasing after them, Link falls down a hole and ends up in a series of tunnels below the land of Termina. After being transformed into a Deku Scrub by the Skull Kid, Link joins up with Tattle, who has been left behind by Skull Kid and Tail. From out of nowhere, the Happy Mask Salesman approaches Link and tells him that it is possible to return Link to his Hylian form. All he needs is to get his Ocarina of Time from the Skull Kid and return to the salesman. In exchange for this, the Happy Mask Salesman requests that Link retrieves his stolen mask. The salesman only gives a brief explanation of Majora's Mask. He appears to know far more than he lets on. Link exits the tunnel area and finds himself in Clock Town, where a large moon is threatening to destroy the entire land of Termina upon the passing of 3 days. On the night of the final day, Link confronts Skull Kid on the top of Clock Town's clock tower and knocks the Ocarina of Time out of his hands, but fails to retrieve Majora's Mask. Link plays the Song of Time and turns back time to the first day with the aid of the Goddess of Time and returns to the Happy Mask Salesman. The Happy Mask Salesman keeps his promise and teaches him the Song of Healing, a song that heals troubled spirits, turning the Deku spirit that inhabited Link's body into a mask, which Link can use at any given time to change back into a Deku Scrub. However, when the Happy Mask Salesman learns of Link's failure to recapture Majora's Mask, he becomes extremely distressed, even going as far to shake Link violently. He reveals the true nature of the mask and its power, and asserts the recapturing of the mask is crucial to the survival of the world. Strangely, he also tells Link that the mask must be returned before he leaves Termina to continue his journey. The date of this departure is the same as the date of the collision of the moon with Termina, unless Link stops Skull Kid. Link successfully defeats Majora. The Happy Mask Salesman gets his mask back, now seemingly stripped of its power and just a regular mask. He leaves Link with puzzling words and disappears into nothingness. But what does this all mean? We can see some clear patterns here, like his love for masks and his psychotic behavior and his magic powers. His love for masks is obvious, and his psychotic rage outbursts are also very noticeable. But the magic part needs some explaining. There are a couple of ways the Happy Mask Salesman shows off his powers. The first one being, he seems to know all about Link and his accomplishments in Hyrule and can tell what Link went through to obtain a particular mask, or the power inherent in the mask, without ever seemingly leaving his post in the cave beneath Clocktown's Clock Tower. He also seems to appear as from nowhere, appears to change from one pose to another instantly, and has been vanishing into thin air. He also manages to make a giant piano appear from out of nowhere to teach Link the Song of Healing. And the Song of Healing on itself is also pure magic. Also, if 3 days pass and Termina is destroyed, Link appears back under the Clock Tower, where the Salesman waits. The Salesman's laugh is heard just prior to the reset, accompanied by dialogue he had spoken previously, suggesting the Salesman may have transported Link back through time. It seems that the Happy Mask Salesman is more powerful than we think. There are some weird things I want to point out here. The Happy Mask Salesman seems genuinely worried over the damage the mask could wreak, and seems satisfied when he discovers that Majora's spirit has been driven from the mask. However, his motivations are never explored. Furthermore, he seems to have willingly freed Majora's mask, which shows questionable morals. His knowledge of the mask and his efforts to uncover it imply that he was not worried to the threat it posed. He seems only to have become concerned after he beheld the accursed object. It is implied that the mask gets the Skull Kid to steal it, which indicates it was in some way restrained or unfulfilled under the possession of the Happy Mask Salesman. Wait, the puzzle pieces. They fall together perfectly, I know the answer! The Happy Mask Salesman is a deity, just look at his powers. He is way too strong to be a human. He also appeared in 3 different games, each set in a different time, so he has been around for quite a while now. Oracle of Ages set after the events of The Link to the Past, and Ocarina of Time set at the point where the timeline splits. Somewhere after Ocarina of Time, the Happy Mask Salesman sets on his adventure to get Majora's mask. He is obsessed with masks, so that's why he really wants this legendary mask. But as soon as he gets the mask, he gets worried about its power, and he needs to find a way to prevent Majora's mask from destroying the world, so he comes up with a plan. He needs to trick Majora, so he creates a parallel universe known as Termina to trap Majora in so he cannot harm Hyrule in any way. There are a couple of clues that the Happy Mask Salesman created Termina, one of them being he knows everything that's happening in the world. Also, his ability to reset everything after Majora destroys everything is a sign that he controls the world of Termina. And the fact that the Happy Mask Salesman does not travel back to the point where the mask was stolen gives it even more reason that he only has this power in Termina, because he can manipulate time while in Termina but not outside of Termina. The Happy Mask Salesman also seems to be aware of Link's time travel. All of this points out that he has a lot of control over Termina. After Majora has been trapped, the Happy Mask Salesman tries to buy himself as much time as possible to find a way to destroy Majora. In the meanwhile, Majora starts to manipulate the world itself by destroying things and creating things. This also shows that the Happy Mask Salesman is weaker than Majora's mask. And this is where Link comes into the picture. The Happy Mask Salesman knows of Link his heroic actions in Hyrule, so that's why he chose Link to fight Majora and to fix this mess. So the Happy Mask Salesman changes the world so that Link would care about it, its destiny. He does this by creating a lot of sadness and emotion in the world and its people. He also uses the citizens of Hyrule to somewhat persuade Link into saving Termina, because Link can remember these people as friends and good people. He also begs Link to save Termina and stop Majora's mask, because he's the only one who can. The Happy Mask Salesman acted like a fool and released Majora without knowing the effects, but it turns out that he cannot fix it on its own. That's also why he panics so much throughout the game, because he's very concerned about the outcome. The Happy Mask Salesman is not an evil deity. He is weird, true, but all he wants to do is teach people to help each other and what happiness means. Before you go, ladies and gentlemen, I have one question for you. Which one would you buy? This build-it-yourself Lego Mario for $10 or this Thwomp plushie for $8? You can vote by clicking on one of them or leaving a comment. Thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for 10,000 subscribers. 10,000 subscribers, that's insane. That's really insane. It's so, 10,000. 4 months ago we were at 1,000 subscribers. 4 months later we're at 10,000. That's insane.